I'm Larissa. Welcome to Goblins of Discord. This video is on why I think the lines of disintegration and integration are fake, and also why you shouldn't even study them especially if you're new to the Enneagram or you're trying to use the Enneagram to figure out like what your type is. You're trying to self-type, you're trying to use it for self-work. If you are a more academic and scholarly minded kind of person where you're into like the history of the Enneagram or just kind of like understanding that aspect of it and that's interesting to you, then that's great. Like, no judgment. But I think for a lot of people, the lines just confuse everything and muddy the waters, and they're totally useless. And also, they can be explained away by other parts of the type that don't need these superfluous explanations. But before I talk about this a little bit more and actually describe what the lines are, if you're new to the Enneagram, want to get typed by me, you can book below. I'm going to be scrapping live calls very soon and making them only like periodically available, and I will be changing things up a bit. I'm also launching an Enneagram course called Pattern Recognition Princess. So kind of ties into what I'm going to be talking about in this video, so I'll talk a little bit about it at the end. And I'm releasing a PDF called Read People Like Subtitles, which is basically going to be the primer, like the taster for Pattern Recognition Princess. You can get on if you're interested in like learning from me, my version of the Enneagram. I also am like trained in mindset coaching, and I apply all kinds of different things to the Enneagram and filter it through my own lens. So, and I do it way more structured, let's just say, in a course than just when I'm freeballing, freebasing, spitballing on the internet. So if that interests you, you can get on the wait list, and there will be an early bird price for the people that are on the wait list that is not public. So you can click below. What are the Enneagram integration and disintegration lines in a nutshell? They're used to describe how the type changes to resemble another specific type in the Enneagram as the person like unravels or evolves. Disintegration meaning the type you resemble when you're stressed, and integration meaning the type you resemble when you're growing or becoming healthier. So for example, a 1 supposedly moves to type 4 when stressed, and they become more indulgently cunty, prissy, withdrawn, supposedly. And in growth, 1 is supposed to move towards 7, becoming more spontaneous, laissez-faire, and delulu. So basically, they become not their type. And this is like so confusing to people trying to type themselves or notice patterns in themselves, because you get, oh, I must be this type, but I'm whining to this type, and that's why I'm like this. I personally just think it's like used to justify bad types. I understand, first of all, that is part of the symbol. Actually, here, I wrote up a little land acknowledgement speech here. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that what I'm obsessed with was built on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Enneagram peoples. I recognize and honor their deep and enduring connection to the symbol and the system. But I'm a colonizer, and I intend to conquer and make love to the Enneagram until it collapses on the floor from exhaustion. And there's nothing a bunch of dead people, mistyped gurus, or Reddit alts can do to stop me. So there you go. I understand that there are lines in the symbol, and it's part of the lore and the history and everything else of the Enneagram. But if you're trying to use the Enneagram the way I use it, or you're interested in learning the Enneagram the way that I teach it in Pattern Recognition Princess, and also just generally how I view it, it's like, what is actually useful here? I look at the Enneagram type as like an engine. So it's like, I'm going to be paying attention to what makes that engine run, what fuels it, what depletes it, what corrodes it, what revives it. How do I pimp my fucking ride, baby? Like, it's all about the engine. You want to pimp the engine. You want to go faster. It's the engine. You have a problem. You can't get your thing on the fucking road. It's the engine. Okay, sure, there are other parts of the car, but the main thing is the engine. You're not going anywhere without an engine. So, like, I see the lines and things like this as more like trying to understand the mechanisms of the tire. It's like, it's not helping you if you're trying to like use the Enneagram for anything social, relationship wise, romantic, frenemies, whatever you want it for out in the world. If you're kind of interested in using it the way that I'm interested in using it, which is pattern recognition to like spot people out in the wild. What is this person doing? What is driving this person? And the lines just muddy the waters. They just confuse the issue. Not so, in my opinion, you're not disintegrating into another type or integrating into another type. It's based, you're still doing your type. You're just either overdoing your type, in which case you would be like disintegrating, or you are like less in the thrall of your ego, which would be considered integrating. So it's like for people who are like, I'm just a high health 4 or something, it's like, you're not, because it doesn't exist, especially not for a 4. Uh, but it's like your type is still trying to get the same hit. It's just going to go about it different ways. It's like if you're in the thrall of your ego, if you are like a super low health type, whatever type you're doing, you're going to be doing an extreme version of your type. And when you're in high health, you're still doing the same thing. You're just doing it less loudly and insanely. So what do I mean? Give me some examples, lady on the internet. So ones don't disintegrate to 4. They just double down on self-righteousness, and they're not so secret God complex. They just become more frustrated, more loud about their frustration. It's not, they don't become a 4. They're still like an uptight, like they're still uptight, and they still have like a stick up their butt, and they're still a gut type, a godly, pinched God type. And the natural polarity swing is then to overdoing that and being too rigid and too psychotically controlling and disciplined, and like, all of my eggs go in this order, and then we don't move the water. It must be in the fridge in this way, and you behave this way, and you keep your skirt to this much above your knees. I'm just making this up. My course will be a lot more structured, in case you're wondering. But the natural polarity swing, which is like a law of the universe, is you go too hard in one direction, you swing back in the other direction. It's a boomerang. It's it's polarity basically. So the natural swing then is to the integration to 7, which is not a 1 turning into a 7 or becoming a 7. It's just daddy puts his feet up. He cracks a brew. He lets out some of that trapped gas. And that's a natural correction to being overly rigid, perfectionistic, and judgmental. Daddy's still going to be rigid, perfectionistic, and judgmental. It's just going to be less, he's going to be less in the grip of it. And this plays out for every type. What goes up must come down. You go hard in one direction, you slingshot to the other direction until you're present. How I framed this before, I think I coined this, I made it up a while ago, but from being an NPC, so it's like you're not present and conscious is what an NPC is, and you go into main character energy when you start becoming aware of what you're doing in your type, and part of that is not mistyping, part of that is seeing what you're really doing and accepting your type, by the way, instead of trying to explain things away like, well, I'm just lying to something. It's like you're lying to yourself. It's not lying, you're lying. I'm dropping bombs this morning. Okay. So yeah, these are just basic human cycles, ebbs and flows, overdoing, underdoing, responses to life being more or less agonizing. You're not turning into another type or taking on another type's behaviors. You're still doing your type. I actually have like a lot more to say on this particular subject, but I want to keep this video short. So another example is like 6s don't disintegrate to 3. They don't suddenly become like egotistical. Well, I think a lot of 6s are actually egotistical, especially if they have 1 or an 8 fix. But what happens is they just get sick of being the right-hand buddy, the sidekick. They become more confident, more self-trusting. They feel entitled often to, like, they want some of that recognition and respect for all of their studying and slaving, or they just become more entitled. They become like feel more secure, like, well, now I've got this like under lock, like my tribe's under lock, like they're not going to abandon me. Now I can be more of an asshole because their type needs are being met. And if they're low health, that's what they're going to do. Of course, if they're higher health, then they're going to just feel secure, and that's going to be great for them. And so they don't integrate to 9, they just calm down. when they realize that catastrophizing and planning for the worst case scenarios, making their life hell, and that they're literally law of attracting their fears towards them, which is, again, what all of the types are doing. And I talk about that a bit in my personality traps videos. If you want to watch those, I'll be going deeper into that in my pattern recognition princess program. And they also uh, they also chill out when they feel like they're not going to be betrayed, or they feel safe, or they just like stop worrying about it, because it's like, you're gonna be betrayed, your friend's gonna throw you under the bus, your partner might cheat on you, whatever the thing is. It's like when you just like accept it's gonna happen and I can't do anything about it, I'm just gonna live my fucking life. That's when they integrate to nine, but that's not. They're just accepting that they can't control everything. So sevens don't integrate to five the same way fives don't really line to seven. This is a confusing one, I think, for seven and five people. It was for me when I first started out with my Enneagram stuff. Sevens don't suddenly wall up and self-reflect and become like these like insectoids in a Faraday cage. They bottom out. They run out of options. They like they literally have no choice left. They have run out of fucking road. So when they lock in and they're more productive or zeroed in on something, it's usually because they're trying to escape their situation. There's a fantasy element to it, onward and upward to the next best thing. I'm not like it's to get a specific outcome of their type. It's not because they're competency maxing in a hole somewhere. It's just like they realized, like, oh, I'm gonna end up naked in a gutter in Thailand if I don't go from being a jack of all trades to sharpening one of my blades, right? Or or they do want to end up naked in Thailand, and so that's why they're sharpening their blade so that they can go because they need to sharpen the blade in order to get on the plane to get the money to go be a bum on a beach somewhere. So fours don't disintegrate to two and become clingy and needy. Um, uh, that's a six thing, by the way. They're already princesses. Fours are princesses, and they just use feigned baby state or manipulation to get you to do shit for them that they feel above and too uniquely separate and special to do themselves. Like, fours are heart types, so they want to connect with you in the heart. And if they lock in on you, there is a two-ish component to it, because they will make you feel special, because they're the type that cares about feeling special. And the twos can make you feel special too. So can threes. They're heart types. That's kind of like their gift, I suppose. So yeah, all heart types can play the heart violin strings to get what they want. But fours aren't going to become clingy and needy. No way. They'll become despairing and overbearing and throw tantrums and the special exception. And maybe they'll, woe is me, am I, blah, blah, but it's not them actually being clingy and needy. It's them carrying out some low health narrative. To wrap this up, if you're trying to learn the Enneagram and the lines are confusing the issue for you, if you're trying to type yourself, if you got typed but you don't understand why you're this type and you're like, but I think I'm just lining to this, like, just scrap it, scrap the lines. They're honestly useless, and you don't need it for self-work. So if you're using the Enneagram to understand yourself, to improve yourself, to get more out of life, you don't need the lines. If you are trying to use it to connect to other people, to understand other people, you're trying to use it to manipulate people, to play people on the chessboard, you want to use it to get laid, whatever your outcome is, you don't need to know the lines. The channel's not dead, by the way. If you're wondering, like, wow, she doesn't post that much anymore, I'm just being more intentional. I've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, pattern recognition princess, read people like subtitles, some other stuff that I'm going to be dropping that I'm not sharing publicly yet. And I'm really excited. I'm upgrading my offers. Everything's getting like a update, because I am finally ready to re-enter the world. I went into the cave, I got the elixir, and now I'm returning to the world. I'm leaving the basement. I'm gonna be a little fairy about town again, and very excited. If there's any people in Montreal that are watching this, hit me up. Unless you're really annoying, don't hit me up then, because that's where I'm moving soon. So, okay, bye.